Hello and welcome to my channel, Attila Tarot. In this video, we're gonna look at the relationship between Hungary and Ukraine. As you can see, I have my three decks ready. This is gonna represent Hungary's point of view. This is gonna be Ukraine's. And this deck I'm gonna use to look at the current situation, what are the hindering factors, what are the opportunities, and the final outcome of this relationship. So I'm gonna start, and it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna shuffle the cards, so if you want to skip that part, you're gonna be able to do it in the description, because I like to kind of have the cards fall out on their own. So let's start with Hungary's point of view. So when you kind of look at this relationship, it's been kind of going through quite an interesting phase. There's been a lot of issues and tensions, and I've been kind of looking up what has been going on. So there are accusations from Ukraine about espionage, and just to kind of full disclosure, I live in Canada, but I was born in Hungary. But my focus is really the meanings of the cards as well. All right, so a couple of the key issues and tensions that I was able to find is really looking at espionage, like Ukraine is kind of claiming that Hungarian intelligence network were involved in spying, and then Hungary calls it like propaganda. Then obviously the challenges around minority rights for the Hungarians that are living in Ukraine has been a constant one as well. Then the other challenge has been about Ukraine's EU accession, in terms of Hungary vetoing, claiming that it has an impact on the Hungarian agriculture. But also, there has been challenges with Hungary's position on Ukraine's role in terms of defense, looking at it that it should be a buffer zone between NATO and EU as well. And there has been kind of, lately a lot of fallout coming out from these issues. I wonder as well, what do you think about these key issues that's happening between Ukraine and Hungary, especially if you live in Hungary or in Ukraine? I would love to see it in the comment, your perspective, but obviously be very gentle with each other and be nice to each other. It's okay to have like a proper conversation. But while I'm kind of finishing up getting the cards ready, I want to recommend you to check out the other videos in my channel. I have quite a few political readings. I have also a lot of country analysis as well, and you should definitely check out my regular readings when it comes to your sign, your zodiac sign. I think you're going to be able to use it for your own benefit as well, in terms of how to manage your life monthly from pretty much every aspect. But back to our original reading here, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, of course. So let's jump into this. We are ready to go. I'm going to start with Hungary's side. So the first card that kind of represents Hungary's point of view with the relationship of Ukraine is the Six of Wands. So Six of Wands is a card that represents success. It represents victory, and it also represents being in the center of attention when all eyes are on you. And again, as I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you just the meanings of the cards and how they relate to the situation. So it's not my personal opinion. It's just the meaning. So what I'm kind of getting here is a couple of things. I think when it comes to Ukraine, Hungary would like to be successful. Hungary would like to have a more of a winning position. But I kind of see it also from this card that it's a good way for Hungary to be in the center of attention. Maybe because it gives a chance for the other countries, the other EU countries and the world to pay attention to what's going on and to kind of have more of a influential role as well. In terms of what's going on in the world, because this is kind of like the influencer card as well. When I kind of look at it, it can connect to social media as well from that perspective. So kind of getting that, I think for Hungary, this relationship with Ukraine, it's an opportunity to be more assertive, to be more victorious, and to be more influential and show to the world that, Hungary has more of an influence. The next card on the Hungary's end is the Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords is connected to fears, anxieties, nightmares, and this kind of says that I think this whole relationship with Ukraine is causing a lot of headache for Hungary because actually, it can be many reasons. We're going to see what the other cards are saying. But all in all, I think Hungary worries a lot about how this relationship will evolve with Ukraine. Okay, the next card is the King of Cups. The King of Cups is a card that can project the leader. So in this case, it can Orbán, or it can be just generally how Hungary is approaching the relationship. So it's interesting that the King of Cups is a very balanced one. The King of Cups is one of those that able to balance feelings, emotions. It's full of feelings. I think Hungary has a lot of emotional connection to Ukraine when you kind of look at that from that point of view. But also Hungary is able to balance the logic as well. So I don't think that Hungary is just acting from an emotional point of view. Hungary is able to balance that with, okay, what is logical to do here from our own benefit to be in a better position, in a more victorious position. And this is also for me the card of diplomacy. Because, this is somebody who's really great in terms of managing the words and be very diplomatic in the approaches. And you can kind of see that he is in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by chaos, but he's very stable. So which kind of says that which I'm kind of getting here, that I think Hungary is able to balance this relationship pretty well, even though there's the war, even though there's a lot of chaos that's happening. So great diplomatical skills that I'm getting here. It's going to be interesting to see if there are repetitive cards, because, we're using here 3 decks. Okay, now let's see what do we have at the bottom of the deck. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Devil card. So what the Devil card is pointing here, that there are some things out of balance, the way Hungary is approaching this relationship, or the relation. There's a lot of some kind of a dependency that's kind of in the background, in the shadows, because usually whatever is at the bottom of the deck is it can relate to fears, certain things we don't see as well. So there's somebody who's kind of how should I say, pulls the strings. Now, I don't know if this is a symbol of Russia or any of the powers, but there's some kind of a dependency that's kind of underlying here. It can be the energy dependency that Hungary has from Russia. It can be economical dependency as well. but there's something here in the background that's kind of influencing that. All right, let's see the cards that are representing Ukraine's point of view. All right, if I can pick it up. Okay, so the first card is the Justice. So the Justice card is a card of harmony, balance, being just and fair in the way we deal with things. And also it can be connected to legal systems, legal matters, contracts, deals, treaties, when you kind of look at between two countries. So when you kind of look at how Ukraine is approaching, the justice means that Ukraine is trying to be very balanced, trying to be very kind of getting diplomatic, but we will see whether that comes out as well. I think it is trying to approach this situation through the legal framework as well, to kind of balance things out. Yeah, the legal things that kind of maybe through contracts, maybe through some deals but all in all, I think they're trying to balance the relationship as well. Let me put it this way, because sometimes this card is not about that everything is harmonious. It can be, but it can be talking about that you're just trying to balance things. All right, now very interesting to see this card, which shows up on both ends. The King of Cups represents both Hungary and both Ukraine. So obviously, yeah, like diplomacy is very key for Ukraine as well, the way they approach the relationship with Hungary. Obviously, they've been going through a lot of chaos, a lot of challenges. And when this card comes up, they're kind of trying to, again, balance the emotions, balance the logic as well. So pretty much it's very interesting that I think the two countries kind of approach each other very similarly with a lot of diplomacy. We also have here the Ten of Pentacles. So Ten of Pentacles is can be connected to money, finances. It can be connected to resources as well. But also this is kind of like heritage card, when you kind of have similar heritage and similar background, like this is like this mutual historical ties as well that this card can talk about. So I think also this is a very strong family. So I think what I'm kind of getting here is, I think Ukraine is kind of looking at it, yes, we do have a very strong history together. We have similar backgrounds. We went through similar things as well. So I think there's a lot of cultural, historical ties. Now, obviously, there are a lot of Hungarian people living in Ukraine as well, but I think there's a lot of historical ties. Now, obviously, there might be resources that might be kind of connected here, that Ukraine is looking at Hungary in terms of a resource or certain kind of access to resources as well. Okay, let's see at the bottom of the deck. Now, the bottom of the deck, we do have here the Seven of Swords. So that's actually the card of lying, cheating, stealing, and also a card of spying. So it is at the bottom of the deck, so it can be fears, it can be underlying things. So what I'm kind of getting here is the Ukrainian side is not fully honest in terms of the way they do or approach things with that Seven of Swords. Again, because of that lying, cheating aspect of it. So, but again, it's very interesting that both has in the underlying energy some kind of a shadow card, the Devil and the Seven of Swords. So there's certain things that are kind of happening in secret as well when the Seven of Swords comes up, right? Like secrecy is very important, or certain things that they're trying to do. Because when you kind of, especially the original one, it's really connected to wars, right? The Seven of Swords. But the Seven of Swords also talks about approaching the situation with a new angle, because the new angle, they don't want to continue to fight. They want to kind of sit down, and they want to have a more diplomatic approach. So there's definitely in it, because the diplomacy has to be kind of failing, and I think there has to be a new approach for Ukraine when you kind of look at that Seven of Swords. Okay, let's just get this out of the way, and let's see what is at the bottom of the deck. It is the Ace of Pentacles, which you're going to talk about it later, so that's kind of a great opportunity here. But let's see the current situation, what's going on right now based on the energies of the tarot. Okay, so the Ten of Wands is the first card. The Ten of Wands is an ending of a difficult cycle. This is a card that talks about being exhausted, carrying a lot of burden, and having a lot of baggage, carrying a lot of historical baggage, right? When this kind of comes out, it can be something that started with a lot of excitement, a lot of passion, and then now it is more of a burden. Like, when you kind of went on the date and it's like, oh yeah, everything is great, and when you kind of went through a relationship, oh my God, I can't believe this is where we are. That's kind of the energy what the Ten of Wands brings here. So there's a lot of burden, there's a lot of historical baggage that's impacting the current situation as well, and also this card gives us the sense that there's something it's coming to a conclusion pretty soon as well. But there's a lot of baggage in terms of the relationship. All right, the next card is, the Four of Cups as well. So the Four of Cups is a card of boredom, apathy, being disconnected, sulking as well, when you're kind of not seeing the opportunities that lies ahead of you. And you're kind of in this dreamy stand of what ifs. Like, this can be that Ukraine says, oh, Hungary should do this and that. Hungary should support me. And then Hungary might say that, well, Ukraine should do this, give more rights to that. So this is kind of like this what if scenario when both parties in this, okay, this has been a lot of kind of challenges. Those three empty cups represent the disappointments that happened in the relationship in the past. And you can kind of see that they're not over it. There's a lot of baggage, a lot of disappointments here, and they're not even seeing when there's a new opportunity coming in. So I think it's very hard for them to kind of get that approach and see, because they're kind of, both of them are getting the sense that they're kind of sulking. All right, the next one is the Seven of Wands, which is also a card of protection and protecting themselves. So what I'm kind of getting here, everybody is really just trying to protect themselves from the others or from the outside parties, and they kind of just getting ready for it. Now also this can be a card that can be connected to the war and kind of trying to protect your own interest. But all in all, there's what I'm kind of getting here for the current situation, that there's a lot of baggage, a lot of historical challenges, disappointments that's still impacting the relationship, and they're not seeing the opportunities, how you can collaborate, how you can work together, and they're just trying to protect themselves from each other and from the previous disappointments that happened. Okay, let's see what are the hindering factors. Okay, the first one is the Five of Wands, which is a card of conflict and competition. So when you kind of look at it, this is kind of like just the kind of conflict that people are just coming from different backgrounds. They have a different point of view, different cultures as well. For me, this is the typical diversity card, when people are not seeing eye to eye because they have a different background, a different upbringing. But from that perspective, it's very interesting that, yes, there are a lot of historical similarities, but there's still differences between these countries. But also there's a kind of competition. So because I think they're neighbors, there's definitely some kind of a competition for attention, for resources, and influence as well. But the good thing that this is not a hardcore conflict. Right? This is kind of like one of those when you're just kind of trying to see, okay, how far can I push each other's buttons, right? So that's definitely a hindering factor right now. Now, it's interesting that you have here the sun as a hindering factor, which is very interesting from a couple of angles, because the sun is the most positive card. So it is a way, there's way to get things into a more positive spin. But this is also a card of clarity. So what I'm kind of, and as a hindering factor, I think they just don't have the clarity right now. They don't see clearly what is the way out, what is the best way to approach this relationship. But again, there's a chance for positive outcome, because the sun is always making things better. And the next card is the Hermit. So the Hermit is all about rethinking, re-strategizing. And also this is a card of isolation when you look at from a country or even from a person's perspective, because the Hermit decides that I want to be on my own. So I think right now they're just turning their back to each other, and they're not seeing, they don't see clearly, because there's this competition, there's this conflict, and they kind of isolate themselves. So I think this whole isolation strategy or impact what the two countries have is definitely a hindering factor. Okay, so let's see what are the opportunities. Okay, so the opportunities is actually beautiful, because we have here the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, it represents a new beginning, a new happy chapter that's full of love, that's full of connection, very emotional. And this is also a card that is connected to making peace with each other, or creating peace, a peaceful environment. So I think this is great, because there's an opportunity here for the two countries to start new, to start work with each other peacefully and make peace with each other. Maybe even creating peace between, Ukraine and Russia as well. That might be an opportunity, but peace is definitely available. All right, the next card is the Three of Wands, which is the card when you're kind of the early successes, when you made your plans and you see that the plan is working. And this is also looking into the future. So I think what is an opportunity here for the two countries is not to look at what went wrong and look at the baggages and protect themselves, but actually look into the future, create a plan, and see whether the plan's gonna work or not. But also this is a card that's always connected for me to internationalism, international collaboration. So I think there's an opportunity here for the two countries to actually work together internationally and influence things and have a more of a peaceful approach. All right. And we also have here the Two of Swords as an opportunity. So I need to kind of entangle that as she is kind of entangled in those cords. So what this means, generally, the Two of Swords is all about that you're kind of seeing things this or that. You're kind of going back and forth between two options, and you're not seeing the third option. And also this card can be connected to like a stalemate, when things are not moving forward, like pretty much like when you have a ceasefire or something. So what I'm kind of, and this card is always telling us, listen to your instinct, your inner voice. So what I'm kind of getting from this card, that the two countries can have an opportunity to work together internationally if they stop doing this back and forth, just one way of seeing things. They need to approach things from a new angle. There's a third way of doing it as opposed to what they've been doing so far. And I think they need to kind of listen to their instinct a little bit more. And also maybe if they kind of stop doing the conflict, like to kind of get a little pause on it, I think that might help them to reflect as well. All right, let's see what's going to be the final outcome of this reading between Hungary and Ukraine. But before that, please Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hype. That's an indication that you enjoyed the reading, and you're also helping me to increase the channel to make sure that more people see it. And don't forget about the comment section. Let me know how this reading, how you like this reading. Let me know your opinion about those certain topics, about the current relationship between Ukraine and Hungary. I'm very interested to see your opinion from pretty much everywhere, all over from the world, but especially if you are from Hungary and Ukraine as well. But be nice to each other, right? Approach it with love. And don't forget to check out my other videos that might be very helpful for you too. All right, let's see the first card. So the first card we have here is the Nine of Wands, which is the card of the wounded soldier. Somebody who's been through a lot of fights, a lot of challenges, difficulties, who's very vigilant and kind of looks around trying to protect themselves because, they've been through a lot. So, and also this is a card when you're kind of ready to give up on something, your dreams or something to that nature. So I think what I'm kind of getting here is a couple of things. I think they're going to be very vigilant with each other. They're going to be really looking at each other suspiciously, I think, what I'm kind of getting that. And they're going to be kind of still protecting themselves, because this is also when you're kind of surrounding yourself. And I think those wounds are still there in the future. But this card is also a card that kind of tells us that we shouldn't give up. We shouldn't give up on this relationship because we're actually very close to achieving something. And what's really important here to look at the potentials here, right? Those opportunities to make peace and collaborate and new options. All right, we also have here the Seven of Swords. Well, we kind of seen the Seven of Swords here. The lying, cheating, stealing, dishonesty, spying. So I think that's going to continue. I don't think it's going to change. I think the two countries will kind of still do what they've been doing. Which side? I think probably both sides. Like, if I can be totally honest with you, because they're just kind of trying to protect themselves, etc., etc. Now we also have here the Four of Swords, which is actually a very positive sign, because the Four of Swords indicates healing. When you went through a breakup, when you went through something disappointing, and you are healing from it. So there's a chance for healing. There's a chance here to evolve slowly, because this is also a very, very slow moving energy. So I don't think that this healing is going to happen from one day to the other. This is kind of like also when things are not moving forward, it kind of gives the feeling. But there's some kind of a blessing coming with this card. Like on this card you don't see, but usually there's a blessing happening in behind. So I think there's some kind of a healing blessing is coming. That's gonna happen slowly, and I think this is where this card is very important. Whatever is at the bottom of the deck, the Ace of Pentacles, it gives a chance for a new beginning, a new chapter in our life that can provide long-term stability, long-term abundance, economically, and pretty much from every aspect. So I think there's a chance here for a new beginning. I think it's gonna happen very slowly. But I think before we get to it, you're going to see more of the being vigilant, trying to protect, and having like these sneaky actions as well. So that's all I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and I'll be able to welcome you again.